Hello and welcome back to Sheltered Sages, the podcast where two formerly sheltered homeschoolers talk about the complexities of life, one Reddit story at a time. My name is Philip.
And I'm Andrew.
Awesome. I got that again. I think we're getting more comfortable with it.
Definitely. I mean, I would hope so by 16 episodes. Like, we should get this memorized.
Oh, we really should. We really should have this down. But, you know, it's okay if we don't as much. This is exciting because for anyone who lives in Orlando or in, let's say, the Central Florida area.
Or anywhere with internet, honestly, because I've been seeing it everywhere.
You probably heard about this little theme park that's out here, just a tiny little place called Epic Universe.
Yes, we got a new theme park, everyone!
It's like the first big new theme park that's out here in like 10 or so years. I think the last one before that was like Animal Kingdom that was happening out there.
Yeah, there were little ones, like obviously you have Legoland, which opened a little bit recently, more recently than that, but it was more of a refurbish of another park and things like that. But this is like the first big major theme park opening, and I'm so excited. I love all of the things. There's the Nintendo World. There is the Dragon Rider. Isles of Berk.
Yeah,
right?
Isle of Berk.
There's obviously the Harry Potter release. Just because I love the immersion of all of the Harry Potter.
They're so great. And then there's the Dark Universe that's out there.
Oh, yes, because we've talked about my love of horror. And like old OG horror monsters are just so much fun. More just the science and the technology that they had to use to make everything. But I haven't been yet. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I will get there one day. But
it feels like everyone is coming to Central Florida to come to this park as well.
And honestly, I'm okay with waiting. I'm one of those people that like, I love it. I want to see all the video footage from it. I want to experience it. But I am okay waiting until it's a little bit not as packed. Because I have crowd phobia. And I do not want to be standing in line 4 hours.
Yes.
So other exciting thing, as you might have heard a little bit earlier, we are recording in a little bit of a thunderstorm. So, you might hear little drums of thunder at some point in time. You know, if you're listening to us as you fall asleep, hopefully that'll help aid the, aesthetics. If you don't like that sound, we're going to try our best. At some point in time, if the power goes out, we might stop recording and have to come back later. Or there's one now.
There it goes.
There it goes. Yeah. Thank you, Storm, for helping punctuate that. But also, if it's one of those things that we got to keep moving, we might have to switch to just audio only for a little bit, and we'll have a fun little picture for you guys to look at while you listen to us. So,
hopefully that doesn't happen, but it is a potential that it could, depending on the storms out there, because Orlando is known for their theme parks. And also for their storms.
Thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Yep. Theme parks and thunderstorms. That's the name of this episode.
Oh, wow.
Right there. Theme parks and thunderstorms.
I love that. I love that. All right. So we've been around fans of theme parks. We've seen a lot of them. I am personally a fan of theme parks. My wife is a huge fan of theme parks. She loves them a ton.
Same. My wife, huge Disney fan, as you saw when we were sitting the other way at the old, like when you saw like the pop-its for the different Disney movies and things like that. And I've enjoyed it. It's not something we did a lot when we were younger. I enjoy throw rides. That is my go-to. That's actually my biggest motivation for weight loss, actually, is to like be able to ride more rides comfortably and be able to do all these things. So
that's fair.
I love that, the roller coaster, and I love the feeling of just like your stomach going into your throat and just like all these crazy things. You're not a roller coaster person.
Not a roller coaster person at all. But I understand people who appreciate that. Yeah. Like that's fun. That's for you.
Yeah,
that's really great.
That's the best part about theme parks is there's always something for someone.
Yes,
it's just like there are the people for like that just want the experience, the immersion. Like that is one of the things that I'm so excited about Epic Universe, because it is such an immersive park. I remember the first time that I went into like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter over at Islands of Adventure. Yeah, and it was just like, I don't know what's happening because I haven't watched Harry Potter because I was homeschooled. But this looks really cool and I need to do some research.
Yes.
And then I watched all the Harry Potter movies, came back and loved it even more.
Absolutely. I mean, a little preface for me. We didn't really go to very many big theme parks until we were much older. Allegedly, we went over to, I think it was either Disney or Universal when we were really small, but like I could barely remember it, so I didn't really know what was going on there. So I didn't remember as much of going to theme parks when we were younger, but I do remember we got this DVD in the mail that was basically an ad for all of the theme parks that were there. And since we were homeschooled, we would watch a bunch of other movies, but then we also would sometimes just like put it on, and I think it was the one for Animal Kingdom. And I was just like so excited. Like Animal Kingdom seems amazing. It also had something about Epcot in there, I think it was. And it was like the most magical place on earth. You can have this and this attraction. You should go to this. And I was like, Mom, Dad, I need to go to Disney World. And they're like, we don't have Disney World money. And it's really far away, so like not worth it. And then later on I became an adult. I have my own money and I can go places, and I think the first time I really went to Universal was I paid for it myself. And it was after I watched all of the Harry Potter movies. I was basically in college at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I watched all of the Harry Potter movies.
So we could watch all the Harry Potter movies. I remember sitting, I remember sitting outside, like while I was waiting from one class to the other, watching a completely legal copy of one of the Harry Potter movies, because that's when I started watching them, when I was like as an adult. Or I don't even think I was an adult at the time. I think I was doing like the dual enrollment thing.
Okay.
But I was still there between classes, and so I had to like kill some time, and I was watching a Harry Potter movie. But anyways, I'm sorry.
You're good. But yes, once I finished watching the Harry Potter movies, I was like, I really want to go to Universal and see those lands there, and it looked just like they do in the movies.
Insane.
It was fun. I bought myself a little wand. I went around and did the interactives, and I was like, this is incredible. And then later on, now I live close enough so I can go more often.
Yeah. And like I'm gonna say, you moved to the perfect place.
But we're not talking about the perfect stories of theme parks. We're talking about the complicated situations.
As with the recording of our podcast, things don't always go to plan.
Absolutely.
Especially when you go to travel theme parks. And so we're not going to talk today about all the fun things and great things that happen in the theme park necessarily.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. But we're definitely going to talk about some of the pickle feet that we can encounter while we're at them.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time, especially after the delay, that we start the episode now.
All right, welcome back again. I hope you love the intro. I think it's really neat little intro that's there.
Cute little ditty.
Little sound ditty. I have the first story for you, though.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so my story is, am I the picklefoot for wanting to go to the amusement park without my 5-year-old?
Oh, I saw this title.
You saw this one?
I did not pick this story myself, but I saw this title and thought about it for a second. But let's hear it.
Okay. We are currently on vacation with my family. 3 generations, 13 people. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Tomorrow, several of us are going to an amusement park, and my husband and I are disagreeing on whether or not we should bring our 5-year-old son. I have several reasons for saying we shouldn't. The group is 6 adults and our 3-month-old baby, and while we can hand the baby over and take turns on a ride, our son would have to stand in line for a bunch of rides he doesn't want to go on. He's afraid of roller coasters and is too short for a number of other rides. One of us could split from the group with him to go on the kiddie rides, but then that parent wouldn't be there to hand the baby over to. I've also been looking forward to this outing because I love roller coasters and haven't been able to go on any fast rides while I was pregnant. And frankly, I don't want to spend 54 pounds, I'm going to say, to watch my kid ride.
Is it like the weird
carousels.
reverse E?
Yeah,
that's pounds.
Okay, cool. In addition, we have a car that seats 7, but if our son joins us, we will have to take a second car, and people aren't excited about riding in it because it will be hot tomorrow and the second car has no AC. My husband's stance is that going to an amusement park is a family outing, and we would be jerks not to bring our son. If our son doesn't come with us, he would join my sister with her husband and kid, who are going to a car museum with classic and historical cars that also has activities for kids. We asked our son how he felt about those 2 options, and he's kind of meh about both. We've agreed to describe the 2 options to him again tomorrow morning and let him decide, but am I the picklefoot if I would rather he didn't come with us?
So I'm glad that they expressed where the child would be if they were not at the theme park. I was like, are you just going to leave your 5-year-old alone?
That sounded weird.
Yeah. So this is an interesting situation because it's so hard when you go on like family, like in any vacation, just to be like able to meet all the things. I was on vacation a couple weeks ago with family, and like my father-in-law rented this wonderful beach house that we all kind of were able to stay in, but we all kind of recognized that we're all kind of doing our own things. Sometimes we would do things together. We tried to at least have one group meal together a day.
Yeah.
And other times we'd like talk about like, hey, we're going to go to the beach this day. Who all wants to come? Or, you know, hey, we're going to go to the pool. Like, we're going to hang out by the pool today. You're welcome to come. Or if you guys want to go shopping, whatever you guys want to do. So it's very hard to like have those opportunities to get away, or even when you're like with a family, to have those alone times or have those times to do the fun things that you want. If you're just married, throw in kids on top of that and a several-month-old, you know, that makes it another level of complication. I don't know what theme park they're going to.
No.
But I do know that there are like parent stations where parents can like wait through the line. At, like, I know at Universal, and I think Disney has them too.
Called
where, like,
child swap.
Child swaps. Yeah, where basically like it's literally designed for that. Where like they'll wait through the line, and I haven't ever had to use them, but basically like one parent will stay with the child, the other parent will ride the ride, then they'll come back, the other parent will then sit with the child while the other parent goes and rides the line.
Yeah.
Or rides the ride, and then both of them go. So that, I don't know if that's an option at the park that they're saying, but that could go. Because the kid is kind of meh about the whole thing, especially at like 5 years old, and they're not sure if they want to go one way or the other, I don't think there's anything wrong personally with pushing more towards like, hey, if you're not really like begging to go, why don't you go to this car museum with your sister, or with your aunt, your uncle, and your cousin, and like go spend time with them, have some fun, and that way it's not a burden on the rest of the people who are, you know, that are going to go ride the rides and are really wanting to enjoy the thrill rides. Yeah. So that's really where I think I'll stand by it. Is it's like, I think it's not really a picklefoot to be like, hey, I think, you know, my son would not really enjoy what we're wanting to do tomorrow and has an opportunity to go do something else that he might enjoy. So with that context that I have, I think that's where I would lean with that situation. But it's always hard when you throw kids into the mix, which is why it's very, very important, in my opinion, that you should be ready to know what you are giving up or you are going to have to make modifications for when you have children.
Absolutely. I think I felt the kind of same way, where it's like, it's not a full-on picklefoot move to be like, I don't want to bring my 5-year-old to this theme park, but it's also like, so it's two sides to this. Yeah. For one side, you have a 5-year-old. That's your kid. You've got to take care of them. If you want to go on thrill rides and things like that, then you might have needed to think through what that would be like. Or even have, let's say, your partner who's there say, I really want to go on these roller coasters. So if you could be the one that focuses on and taking care of this 5-year-old while I go on those roller coasters, I'd appreciate that. Now, both of you really wanting to go on those roller coasters and doing things like that. It seems like they said 6 adults that are out there. So it's like,
and there is also the 3-month-old or however month old that's also going to be coming. Yeah. Which would then continue to indicate that like there's already going to have to be someone not riding the ride anyways. Yes. So the 5-year-old could just come and hang out with that person. Yeah. Well,
it's also the lines that they got a little complicated with. It's difficult, especially younger kids sitting or standing for extended amounts of time doing nothing.
As an adult, doing that is a lot.
So I get them not wanting to have that complication. That said, it's like, that's your kid. That is technically your job, kind of like what we talked about in our previous episode about a dog. Like, not saying that kids are not puppies.
Kids are not puppies,
but in the same way,
they are your responsibility.
They're your responsibility. So you have to look into that. On the other side, though, I do feel for her, where she's like, I was pregnant for a good bit of time. I wasn't able to go on roller coasters then. Good job being a good mom and not riding roller coasters while
that's
pregnant.
A whole other story.
Some people are like, I don't really care. I'll do whatever I want. But you really don't want that to happen. No. You really don't want that for your kid. So great. But then it's also like,
like I get the idea too that like this is the dad's opinion of it being or the partner's opinion of it being a family outing. Yeah. Like that is true. There are going to be moments where you're not just riding roller coasters. If the sole purpose of going to the theme park is to ride roller coasters and the child will be bored the entire time, I lean more towards the encourage the child to go to the car museum where there's going to be activities and fun stuff for him.
Yeah.
If it's just going to be like, hey, we're planning on riding 1 or 2 rides and then we're going to enjoy the rest of the park, bring the kid along with you.
Yeah.
That's where it's like I kind of stand by. It is a complicated situation, though. It's one of those things where it's like I don't think you'd be a picklefoot for pushing one way or the other with the context that I have. But also, it's like this is also your child. So, again, I'm not a parent, so maybe once I have kids, I'll have a very different opinion of it. But that's where I kind of feel like, you know, if there's options available and things like that are presented, why not allow yourself to enjoy the time you have?
Yeah. Plus, I'm on the side of they're 5, and so it's kind of like, well, I feel like they should have a choice in all of this thing. They're also 5.
Yeah, 5-year-olds don't know what they want.
And it's also like if you want to just be like, kid, you're going with your aunt and uncle so that me and your father and your younger baby sibling can have fun at the theme park. Yeah. I don't think that's wrong, and I think you're allowed to kind of do that.
I think it's also great that they ask the kid.
Yeah.
Because it's like it is this reality of like, hey, maybe he wants to go, even if he doesn't want to ride. Maybe he wants to spend time with his sibling and his parents and things like that. But if they're like, meh,
that's
then
okay.
I think you have every right to be like, all right, cool, then let's do this.
That's fair.
Because you don't owe the kid the right to ask them what they want to do, but at the same time, it's good that you extended that courtesy, and I think it shows a lot of the maturity of the person writing it that they did that.
I agree. That's good. I didn't think about that way, but yes. There's an edit as well.
Okay. All right.
You ready for this?
Yes, this is going to change my entire opinion. I know it. Let's go.
Will not. It will not. Okay. This morning, kiddo's first words were, "Mommy, guess what? They have an indoor climbing park." Who does? The park we're going to today. And they have bumper cars. It's the best park in the world. And I may have cotton candy. So apparently, husband pulled a sneaky on me and totally hyped up the place to kiddo. But of course, we're taking him now.
That's
Our
good.
plan is that about half the time, the first one, then the other half of us will take him to the kiddie area, and the other half of the time, he'll just have to hang out with the grown-ups, even if he doesn't go on a lot of rides. I'm sure we'll all have a great time.
That's great. And that's what I think at the end of the day, this isn't like the biggest situation in the world, right? This is one of those like small things that like you figure out while you're on vacation. I don't love that the dad went behind the mom's back and snuck around to try and convince the kid to go so he can get his side of things.
Yeah.
That's not cool, Dad. Don't do that. It's a little underhanded.
Yeah.
But also, I think that them choosing, again, once the kid was like, oh, I want to go, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, still not the picklefoot, in my opinion.
Okay.
But, you know, let's hear what the commenters have to say.
Okay. So one of the top commenters said, "I went back and forth a few times, but because of what you said here, I think not the picklefoot." And basically, they brought up the point where they said she was going to allow the kid to go with her sister to another location. So they said, it's not that you're leaving him at home.
Yeah.
It's that he would be doing another activity. The only issue with it is that he's not with you. But on a long vacation like this, I think it's fine to spend a day apart.
Absolutely.
Personally, I would be super happy to take my 5 and 1/2-year-old to ride kiddie rides all day. The 1.5-year-old probably wouldn't be able to ride much, but you're not doing any harm by not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like the fundamental idea of it's not wrong to not want to bring the kid along. Yeah. But it's also not wrong to want to have the kids with you. As a parent, I don't think, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak. It's not parenting advice, but I don't think that you have to be around your kids all the time.
Well, I think it's healthy even for kids to be able to have moments where they're separated from their parents. Like being homeschooled, we spent a lot of time around our parents. And it's one of those things that true is like, you know, parents need time to be able to recoup.
Yep.
Kids need time to be able to develop themselves and hang out with people that are not directly their parents. I think for extended periods of time, or if you're constantly trying to get away from your child, that's a issue you need to bring up in therapy.
Yeah.
But I think from a get-go of just like one day, like the commenter said, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's, again, I think this is one of those like morally gray situations where it's like, it's not really that anyone's, no, like I think there is a nobody's the picklefoot or something like that, because I don't think there's really a picklefoot situation here.
Yeah, I think the only one who potentially could be soft picklefoot,
the dad,
is the dad.
Yeah,
yeah.
Don't try and manipulate your child behind the scenes.
Them.
Yeah, it's a little much, because I'm sure if that would have been done and presented like, these are the fun activities you could do at the car museum.
Yeah,
these are the fun activities you can do at the theme park.
Yeah.
Pick one of the two. You know what I mean? It's like, at least present it with a fair option.
That's fair. A little story on my side, and then we can go to the next story as well. But when I went to Universal for the first time, it was a more complex situation because my family, we usually go on big vacations together. So it's like my grandparents, my uncle, my aunt, my siblings, and my parents that are all there. At that point, my siblings wanted to go to, or some of my siblings wanted to go over to Disney. And I was like, well, I've seen Disney before. I think we actually had gone to Disney way back before. But I was like, I just have seen all of the Harry Potter movies.
I've been the heathen that watched all of Harry Potter.
Exactly.
I have to go, immerse myself in it.
Yeah. So I wanted to go see that land instead. And it got kind of complicated when we're just like, okay, we need to stay together. We have to just choose which park to go to. Eventually, we decided it's okay to split up. Like, I think my younger sisters went over to Disney, and then my mom and my younger brother and we went over to Universal, and we had a really good time. It was really great. I got to ride the whole coaster that was out there, and then, of course, I told you I got the wand and everything like that. It was really fun.
Very cool.
It's just like deciding you don't have to stay together for vacations if everyone's comfortable with it, and if they're not, you should have said that before you went on the trip.
Setting expectations from the beginning of like, what is the plan? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it's like, I'm a very relaxed person. So like when I go to things, a lot of times I don't want to plan out my schedule to the wazoo to like make sure that I fit in everything. We talked about this, I think, a little bit on our vacations episode. So trying to fit in a theme park and make sure that everyone's going and everyone's doing things. It's it's what you got to do sometimes. Yeah. But I will say one of my best experiences recently at a theme park, we went to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
Ooh.
And I think it was a Halloween party. Yeah, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And we had gone with my in-laws and their whole family, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and my little niece. And there was a moment in time where they wanted to go ride the Tron ride, I believe. And we were just, we weren't feeling really up to it. We were just like, we're just going to hang out and do things. And like, well, my little niece is like two years old at the time. So she wouldn't have been an option for her to be able to go on it. So I got to spend me and my wife got to spend the next, hour 30 minutes getting to walk around the park. We rode the Winnie the Pooh ride with her and got to go get the candy. We met a character, which is a fun little time where we were just like, it is fun to be able to have that opposite experience as well, where you're like, and one of the things that I think is so cool about theme parks, especially when like you've gone to them for a lot and then you go again with someone who's like a young kid.
Yes.
Is it's like you get to see the park through their eyes and the wonder that they show, and it's so cool. It's so exciting. Like I just remember my little niece's face, and she was just like, and like the way she talks, she was still in she was expressing thoughts, but like in single word thoughts. Yeah. And she was like, Pooh Bear, honey, and then I was just like, oh, I love
cute.
it. It's so cute. Oh, it melts my heart. It melts my heart.
Aww.
But yeah, so like it's one of those things where it's just like, sometimes it's an opportunity too for the other family members to get to bond with the child as well.
That's fair. I like that.
All right, you ready for my story?
I am ready for your story.
All right, mine's a little bit shorter, but I think it's good, and I think it kind of creates an interesting question for everyone.
Okay, let's go.
Am I the picklefoot for not leaving a theme park early?
Oh.
Yes. So, we're at Legoland in the UK with our kids and their best friend's family. The other family's parents are extremely anxious about everything, which is really frustrating for both my wife and I, and also our kids. They won't let them go on any ride without an adult, nor any ride that either gets them wet or could make them sick. Basically, every ride the kid wants to go on, the kids want to go on. Now the other family wants to leave early, but we don't. The other mother had made it clear that she's expecting us all to leave together, as her kids will cry if they think they're going home before their friends are.
Okay.
However, none of us want to leave, as we'd like to go on some of the better rides. Because I'm the one prepared to say no, I've just been called selfish for not thinking about their feelings. I'm just more bothered about my family's than theirs. Am I a picklefoot? Also, just to clarify, we were in our own cars. My son asked his friend's dad if they could do all one last ride together, Mia's riding adventure, before they left. Dad said yes without consulting Mom, so off we went. All the kids loved it, as did Dad, and we all stayed to the end. Unfortunately, the ride broke down, so we couldn't do it again. The mom apologized to me, sort of, but I very much doubt we'll be doing this sort of thing with them again. So, are they the picklefoot for wanting to stay to the end, even though the other family wants to leave?
So I'd say if they want to stay till the end, but they're okay with the other family leaving, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you have separate cars and you're doing stuff like that. Expecting the other family to stay just because you want to stay and enjoy things, that's where it gets complicated.
Or expecting the other family to leave because you're ready to leave and they're not also complicates things, in my opinion.
I think since you have a separate car and you're there, it's also the confusing part of who paid for these tickets, right?
Yep.
If you got to this theme park, they're expensive.
Yeah.
They're more expensive than I think they've been before.
It's ridiculous.
So the family paid for tickets for everyone to go. One family did, and then you're going with them. And then it's like, okay, well, now I'm going to leave early and I expect you to leave with me. If the family that's leaving early is the one that paid for it, I'd still feel a little bit weird with it. But I think having a normal conversation, having good communication, saying, hey, they still want to enjoy stuff. You guys can go back. We're going to stay here. We're going to enjoy a little bit and leave out. If the other family gets a little weird, which it seems like it did, then I'd say probably not a great idea to hang out with them anymore. But I don't think it is your picklefoot for wanting to leave early, because you shouldn't have to be there. Theme parks are loud. They're kind of complicated. It's busy. Things can happen in theme parks, like people going missing and stuff like that. I hope it doesn't happen very often, but it can.
Yeah.
And so you being more worried or more cautious in that environment, I still don't think that makes you a picklefoot. It just makes you a more concerned parent. Maybe ease up a little bit if you're going really crazy on that line.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, people, but getting wet and cold doesn't actually cause you to be sick. That's a myth. That's been disproven.
Yeah, so it's like you're a little more cautious than I would probably be at those times, but also that's not my kids.
And we also don't know the age of the kids either. If they're riding rides, it's probably bigger kids, but it is one of those things too that I think is interesting, that like it's when people try and exert their control over other people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, my kids will create a fuss if we don't go home, or like we'll cry or anything like that. It's like, okay, but that's not my responsibility. And this is what we talked about. We didn't talk about going for a half day.
No.
We talked about going for the full day. And that's what Mike told my kids. And that's what my kids are expecting to do. And so it's one of those things, too, where it's just like, I think it's when you try and push your expectations and what you want, you expect to happen onto other people. That's when it kind of comes back down to like, hey, don't push past what is your availability. Communicate, obviously. I think it's fair to be like, hey, I think, it's best if we go home. But then to call the dad a picklefoot because he's wanting to stay, that's where you're overstepping. Because it's like, now you're trying to exert like, oh, well, I'm right in this situation. There's no right or wrong. Like, obviously, what might be right for your family might not extend to what's right for another family. One family might be super comfortable with all of this and another family might not. So I think it's one of those things where it's like we have to be open to allowing other people to not be comfortable with the same things that we are. And, when it's time to go, it's up to the other person when they want to go, especially if we didn't all ride together, we have separate cars.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. But and this is where it like comes down to, and again, this isn't parenting. I don't have parenting advice, and this is just an observation. But I think it's one of those things too, when you hear about like parents that are anxious and that are controlling and are like helicopter parents, it's very interesting when they try and exude that control
over everyone. Yeah.
And not just the people that they actually have the authority to exert that control over.
Yeah.
So I do think it's going to be something that like the dad needs to look at and like, hey, maybe, this isn't the family that we want to go vacation with anymore, because
it seems like that's what they did. They said that we don't really want to hang out with them anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's, well, at the very least, do this again. Like, because sometimes it's like, hey, having friends that we hang over at each other's house is one thing. That's an environment you're comfortable with and it feels safe. But then you go out into the real world and you're like, ah!
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, there are people that have so much control or want so much control over their family and other people that are out there. And it makes it difficult when you have larger groups. Like, again, when we're talking about if someone's like, we need to all stay together. And we have to stay together the entire time. It's like, okay, if we all agreed on it and we all said that we wanted this to happen, that's one thing. But if you're just deciding, no, we all stay together, we all go to this one theme park, we all stay at the theme park for this certain amount of time, and when one of us leaves, we all leave.
And we also have to go to this dinner at this time. I got reservations for everyone. And like,
just let people enjoy themselves. Theme parks are for fun. And so if you're not having fun in a theme park because other individuals are trying to push what they want to do instead, it's not as a fun and interesting environment.
Yeah. And that's, again, I think that's what it comes down to, is it's like, you have to, and this is just as a parent, and this is just, I think, as people, you have to be willing to let go a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay? You cannot control everything in the environment. You cannot control your kids. You can't control everything that's going to happen. You can definitely guide. You can definitely discipline when needed, things like that. But at the end of the day, your kids are going to grow up. Your kids are going to start making decisions for themselves. You cannot control everything that is around your children 24/7. And honestly, in my opinion, purely my opinion, the more you try and control the environment that they're around, and the more you control like what they do and don't have the ability to deal with, when they're finally interacting with those things, they're not going to know how to deal with it, because they haven't had to come to learn how to make those decisions themselves, because you've dealt with it.
That's fair.
So I know we're delving more into parenting advice than we are theme parks, but at the same time, it's like it all extends to that, because it's like if you're trying to control every aspect of what this kid does at this theme park, then they're not going to know how to be able to do it themselves when they're older and they're by themselves.
And then they're going to watch Harry Potter, and they're going to want to go to
all by themselves to Universal Studios. Well, it's even funny because it's like one of my first solo theme park experiences. It wasn't really solo, but where I didn't go with my family was actually to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time, which obviously this is not a Halloween episode and I won't go too much into that. But it was still theme parks. Yeah. And it was still an experience that I had never done before. And let me tell you, my parents were not happy with me when they found out that I went. Yeah. I did not tell them ahead of time I was going. And I was by myself in the house. I was an adult, I think, at the time. I think I was 19. Yeah. 18 or 19. I was an adult. But let me tell you, my parents were not pleased with me going. And they're like, why didn't you tell us you were going or doing this? And I'm like, because I wanted to go and I knew you guys would, not be up for it and would kind of try and convince me against it, so I thought better to just do it. Okay. And I had a great old time. Yeah. I love Halloween Horror Nights. I actually have been a scare actor before, not at Halloween Horror Nights, but over
another
at another place. And so it was like it opened my eyes to like how much fun this can be in a controlled environment. That all being said, it's important to like let your kids have the opportunity to explore these things in a safe environment. Better to do it with you than never do it and then have their first experiences away from you.
That's fair. I'd say for you, not the picklefoot.
Oh, thank you.
Did what you shouldn't have been deceptive about it. But so maybe, if anything, soft picklefoot.
Soft picklefoot. I'd say my whole thing about honesty.
Yes. But do we have any comments for this one?
We do, actually. So one of the person said, not the picklefoot. Theme park tickets are expensive. You have every right to fully enjoy your day there as a family. I will add that if it becomes an issue, you can always exit the parks together, say your goodbyes, and immediately re-enter the park with your family. This is only if re-entry is allowed, and either way, not the picklefoot. Yeah. Someone replied to that, quoting the "as her kids will," and they put in parentheses, "create a fuss," which might be what the person was trying to say originally, if they think they're going to go home before their friends are. I mostly feel sorry for the other children. They're going to grow up resenting their parents if their parents' anxiety limits their childhood experiences.
That's fair.
Another person also said you had separate cars, it sounds like. In that case, definitely not the picklefoot. If you were all sharing a car, it would depend on what was discussed about how the day would go, their exact reasoning for wanting to leave early, and etc. So it's definitely a lot of people leaning in that, not the picklefoot direction.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's like I was saying before, theme park tickets cost a lot. Yeah. You should be allowed to enjoy it. And also, if your parents are being weird. Now, I'm going to play the other side of it. Maybe these kids are a little annoying. Maybe they start you've seen them before, those kids in the theme parks, so they're just screaming and crying and they're annoyed. And then like maybe they have like weird sensory issues where they don't like being wet. And if they're wet a little bit, then they're just going to have the terrible rest of the day.
That could totally be. Absolutely. And one thing I will say that the OP posted that I don't agree with. Yeah. They made a comment about they won't let them go on any ride without an adult. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so wait, are you sending your kids on rides that you're not going on with them? Because that raises a whole other question of like, what are you doing? You're letting them in this area without adult supervision. Most of these adults require most of these rides require an adult to be with you. So what are you doing? Yeah. So I just thought that was a weird like let's not just nitpick the other parents. Let's nitpick OP just a little bit.
OP is more of a laissez-faire, it looks like, where they're just like, yeah, just go have fun.
That was all fancy. I don't know. Is that just like say la vie, like just do whatever you want?
It's more, I think it's a financial type idea, but yeah, it's basically like you do whatever you want. Basically, you open it up, let them govern themselves. Got it. And so with kids, if you're like, go over, have fun at the theme park, I got you in. I'm just gonna go over to this restaurant and do things.
That's a fairly bad parent.
Some parents are okay with that. They're like, it's safe enough. I personally do not feel like it's safe enough for you to let a child run around in a theme park, regardless of what it is.
As someone who worked with law enforcement, parents, if you think, oh, well, there was all these things we had to do to get into the park, so clearly it's safe, don't do that. There is a lot of things that can happen. Do not let your children run around until you feel like, if you would not feel comfortable leaving your child home alone, I would not let your child walk around free in a theme park. I don't think I walked around in a theme park without adult supervision until I was in like my mid-teens. Yeah. And even then it was like, here's a phone, you meet up with us, you let us know where you're going, what you're doing, things like that.
Absolutely.
But if they're like little kids, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
And I think that's another side of it too. If OP is on the side of, my kids should be allowed to do whatever they want, and then there's other parents like, my kids need to be really controlled, or not controlled, but like more I pay attention to what they're doing. Yeah. I think that, again, communication. Just really make sure that you're comfortable with the people that you're hanging out with and that you respect their wishes across there.
Absolutely.
Whether you think that what they're doing is right or not, that's their kids. They can make their choices about it. And like we said, when those kids grow up and do whatever they want, then they'll make their choices then. But right now, their parents get to choose.
Yep, absolutely. So that's my feelings on it, and that's kind of the comments on it. So yeah, that's cool. What I got for you.
I like that story. That was
interesting. It's very nuanced. There's a lot of different little pieces and a lot of things you can pull from it to talk about.
Absolutely. All right, you ready for my story?
Let's do it.
Okay. Am I the picklefoot for making a set of rules for a Disney trip?
I'm curious. Oh. I'm listening.
Well, this one was also chosen by my wife.
I love that.
She sent this over to me.
She is contributing to our story selection.
I really appreciate her. Wife, if you're listening, I love you. I thank you for finding these stories. It really helped me out.
Yes, thank you, Philip's wife. I'm sure you could have also, with all of your theme park expertise, written your own story.
She probably could have. And she might. Maybe some. But we're going to read this story about
absolutely.
this. Okay. So, hello. Throwaway account since my sisters use Reddit. Every single year, me and two of my sisters take a girls' trip to a random location. This year was finally my turn to plan a trip. So I decided to book a trip to Disney World for 10 days.
That's a long time. Intense trip. My goodness.
My sisters were very excited about this trip, and so was I. But the booking process took a while. Plus, it was pretty costly. Well, we were leaving in a week, and I have created a set of rules for the trip. For example, no sleeping in past 8 a.m. Rope dropping. Wear sneakers only due to a lot of walking, etc. I sent my sisters this list today so they would know what to expect. They didn't take it too well and said that I was being very overdramatic and that this wasn't needed. I told them that this was definitely needed to get the best experience out of Disney World. We got into an argument over it, and now they're saying they no longer want to go on the trip. I thought that making...
a week before? They're like, we don't want to go on the trip now?
Yes. I thought that making this list of rules would make things easier for everyone and make it a more enjoyable time, but maybe I was being a bit dramatic. Am I the Picklefoot?
How old are these kids? Does it say? How old are the sisters?
It does not say. No,
Okay.
but I'm guessing they are old enough to be able to go
on
places
these trips and
by
pay
themselves.
for a 10-day Disney vacation.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You are the Picklefoot. I'm going to very confidently say that right off the bat. I think it is wonderful that you plan this trip. I think it's fantastic that you went and you were like, we're going to do this trip and it's my turn to plan and we're going to do this. You know, it's a process for the booking and obviously it's expensive because we're staying for 10 days going to Disney World, which is right down the road from us. It's expensive. It's not cheap at all. That being said, you do not, regardless of your involvement in creating this, especially a week before the trip, get to publish a list of rules and expectations of what things are going to be. Just because this is your trip that you get to plan doesn't mean you get to plan down to the minutia of everything that's happening.
That's fair.
There are recommendations that you can make. Absolutely. I recommend that we wear tennis shoes every day. That is a smart, as someone who goes to the theme parks, that is a smart call. Wear
totally do that.
tennis shoes. You will regret it if you don't.
Yeah.
But that being said, that is a recommendation that you can make. And if you want to not wear them and you choose to wear flip-flops and your feet hurt or your flip-flops break and that's what you're stuck with, that is the choice that you make. Good news, downtown Orlando has plenty of shoe stores where you can go and buy more shoes if you need to.
Go to Disney Springs.
Go to Disney
sneakers.
Springs, yeah. So that's one of those things where I'm just like, you do not get the right to exert that control over people because you're the one who planned it and like think that that gives you a right to be like, oh, well, we're not sleeping in past 8 because we have to get to road drop. Like you can, those are things you discuss before you purchase the tickets.
Yes.
You don't get to plan that the week out, deciding that like this is how we're going to do our schedule. And that was the 2 things that they put on this list. They said a list of rules, not some rules, a list of rules. I'm sure there was a lot more probably about like, this is where we're going to go and eat. This is what we're going to do. That like, I can't imagine that with that level of the list existing, there wouldn't be more on it.
Yeah.
So yes, all that to be said, with that level of context, you are the Picklefoot.
That's fair. I'm going to play the other side of this.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Because I will say first, I agree with you. I think they are sort of the Picklefoot that's in there. It's soft Picklefoot, but I'd say they're still a Picklefoot. On the other side, we keep talking about how expensive these trips are, especially if you're going to Disney, right? Disney World is a huge resort.
Yes.
It's very costly. If you're going for multiple days, 10 days they're talking about,
Yeah.
you want to get everything out of it. Now, what I'm thinking too, if you're going for 10 days, you probably have more than enough time to like
get
enjoy
everything
the entire
done.
resort without having to worry about it.
Absolutely.
That said,
sorry.
No, you're good. That said, if you're traveling from a place across the world, let's say it's a very long trip, you're doing a whole plane flight out there, you're getting lodging, you're setting up all this stuff. You want to maximize your time. You want to maximize the amount of stuff that you can do at those locations. Also, for the resort, specifically if you want to go to some of those keystone like attractions that are out there are certain lists that you need to get on at certain times. You need to be able to know how it works. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get on there.
Yes,
like
that is
with
fair.
your just latent luck or whatever, some things are not going to be available to you. So I would say, if her siblings were also like, hey, I want to do this, and then OP was like, okay, if we want to do all these things, this is what we need to do that, I would respect it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
That said, it doesn't seem like they did that.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I specify with the context that we had available to us, that's why I think OP is Picklefoot. And here's another thing that I'm seeing from this, and this is someone who has siblings and has been around people with siblings. It seems like this sister is getting a little bit of a high from being the one that's planning the trip. Again, pure inference on my part. I have nothing to go off of that. But like, again, the week before the trip is not the time to discuss when you're going to arrive at the parks every day and when you're going to get up in the morning every day and what shoes to pack and all that. Those are conversations you have like when you're planning the initial trip.
Yeah.
That's the conversations you have are like, okay, I even think that they should sit down beforehand and be like, okay, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Disney parks.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's Magic Kingdom,
Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. That's it, right?
There's Disney Springs if you want to throw that in there.
I mean, I would probably have a shopping day at Disney Springs.
And then there's Blizzard Beach.
If you're going to the water parks and stuff like that. So
one more.
Castaway Cay.
Castaway Cay, yeah.
So like,
no, not Castaway Cay.
What was that?
The Castaway Cay is for the cruise line.
That's right.
So it's Blizzard Beach and...
It's like the shipwreck one.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
My wife will get on me for not knowing. But continue.
Typhoon Lagoon.
Typhoon Lagoon. Well done. Yeah, we did it.
Don't yell at him, wife. I got it. I saved us.
Thank you.
Typhoon Lagoon was actually the first Disney water park I ever went to.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, but yeah, so like there's a lot. And
Yes.
you do need to definitely plan out, like, we're going to go this day to this park, this day to this park, this day to this park.
Absolutely.
Honestly, you should probably even figure out, like, what you're going to do food-wise, because it's, like, it can get very expensive. You're just like, oh, we'll just eat something in the park. Like, that will get very expensive very quickly. So it's like, I think there needs to be planning involved, a lot of planning. And that should happen weeks before this trip.
Yeah.
Not the week of a set of rules and restrictions and expectations.
That's fair.
So that's where I stand by it. And it's like you have to be able to communicate. And again, comes back down to communication, which I feel like every episode, we need to like start a count of every episode where communication doesn't come up.
Yes.
But like this is a communication thing where it was like, I don't know if you thought that because you were planning it, you get to set the rules of what everything is happening, but
Yeah.
they have every right to be upset. Now I will say backing out of the trip the week before when all like
Not
the
cool.
like whether it's flight or transportation's been booked, tickets have been purchased, all that, don't do that.
Yeah.
But just be like, hey, you've booked the trip, but we don't have to spend time with you. You're
true.
not in a like you don't command us. We
Yeah.
can do what we want. Like you don't get to tell me what to do on my trip.
I mean, it seems like they're all paying for it. So it's like if they wanted to just chill out for
Yeah.
a certain amount of time, that should be fair. Like I keep talking about my first Universal trip, but like I think it was really fun to just go to a theme park without having the obligation to go on certain rides or to do certain things, just walking in and saying, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Because when going with like the large group, oftentimes
You have
it's
to
like,
plan.
yeah, which family member wants to go to what, where are we actually going, when we're going to get food. It's like we were able to just walk in and say, what are we going to do next?
Yeah.
How
That's
are we
one of
gonna
the
do it?
reasons I love going to the parks with my in-laws, because they are really good at just being like, this is what we're doing. Y'all have fun. Y'all do what you want to do. Like
Yeah.
we're going to meet up at this time to do this thing. And if you want to meet up at this time to do this, we can. Otherwise, we'll just meet up. We have phones. We can text. We can call.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. They're very chill in that regard. And I love that. Going to the theme parks with my parents was always a little bit more on the challenging side. Not that they were challenging, but just navigating with two boys with muscular dystrophy and figuring out like the rides. And it was like they implemented a fast pass system. So you had to be at certain rides at certain times to be able to do things. It just had to be a little bit more like careful. Then you had to plan all of the other necessities and needs and things like that. So
It comes a lot.
it's nice to be able to just kind of go and just be like, yeah, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. My parents do that with cruises now. Like whenever we go on a cruise, we're like, y'all do what you want to do. We're gonna go do what we want to do. We'll see you guys at dinner. And like that was the only requirement. It's like we'd hang out at dinner, and then we could, if we wanted to do things together, we could. If we didn't, we didn't have to. It's nice.
like
It is
that.
very, very nice. And honestly, I think it's it's one of those things that as you continue to get older, I think I start to realize it's like, just because we're here on a family vacation does not mean we have to spend the entire time together as a family.
Yes.
Like we are getting to have dinner. My rule of thumb, and I think it's a good rule, is like, let's plan on at least having one meal together a day.
Yeah.
And, if there's like, and then make sure we're communicating with each other, like what our goals are and things like that. And if it lines up that two people are wanting to do something, hey,
Great.
let's go do that thing together.
Yeah.
And if it ends up not working out, we're like, you're able to go this time and I'm not, but I'm able to go another time and you're not. We'll just go when we can. It's
That's
like
okay.
there's no obligations to do it. The more restrictions that you put on someone, the more you force them to kind of fit into what you want,
Yeah.
the less fun it's going to be. And like you said for the first story, theme parks are supposed to be fun. If they're not fun, you're doing it wrong.
They're supposed to be.
They're
But do you
supposed
want to
to
hear
be.
these comments?
I
That's it.
absolutely
Okay.
do, yes.
So the
Before I
original poster actually gave a comment here.
love it.
So they said, I have read the majority of the comments. I apologized to my sisters, and we all had a group FaceTime about what we wanted to do on this trip. And I gave them suggestions instead of rules now. I told them that I could rope drop and they could meet me whenever they got up, and they agreed. So now everybody is on good terms again. Thanks for the tips. I hope this trip will be worth it.
Good.
Yes.
Good. That's exactly what needs to happen.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. As someone, I don't wake up super early. On our most recent family vacation, my wife was waking up with her cousins at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And they're like, oh, let's go to this coffee shop. Things. And I'm just like, my alarm goes off at 8. What are y'all doing? I'm just barely getting up. I'm not going. I'm going to stay here.
I'm good.
I'm
Thank
asleep.
you.
I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm not getting up. And I roll over and go back to bed. And like, obviously, I didn't do that every morning. I got up one morning, I'm like, yeah, let's go to breakfast. Or like me and my wife went out to breakfast one morning by ourselves. And like, things like that. So it's like, you know, but don't tell someone when they're going to wake up on vacation. Like, oh, that's a really quick way, at least in my book, to get on my bad side. Is like, you're going to wake up at this time and do this thing at the time that I'm telling you. And I'm like, if you're waking me up before my alarm goes off,
I'm upset.
Yeah. I don't want to do it.
No, I will give a beautiful kind of other story to all of this. When my wife and we started, we were dating. I think we were together for longer than that. Anyways, my wife loved theme parks. She loved Disney specifically, and still loves it. She was like, I really want to go to the parks. I really want to go see it. And I was like, okay, well, we don't live there at that point in our lives. We're living kind of further away. And she was like, can we go? Can we just go to the parks? So I made this deal with her. I basically was like, if you want to go, I want you to plan it out. I want you to go over and like figure out where we're going to go, where we're going to eat, make sure that we have this idea, because we can only go for a certain amount of time. I think it was a weekend, and we're going to go out, visit it, see how it worked, and then have fun at that point. So she planned it all. I just basically drove all the way down there, and I was like, okay, what are we going to do? It was an incredible time.
Was that the weekend we met? Was that
might have been the weekend
I think that was
we met.
during that weekend, because I remember it was like, I remember talking to my wife about it, and she was like, okay, they're here for a weekend and they're really, really packed tight, but like, she wants to meet up, I want to meet up, maybe we can make it work if Philip's okay with it. And I was just like, all right, let's get hot. And then we ended up going to Disney Springs, and it was like, still got to do things on the trip. It was great.
So that was the time that we met, was because we went down there. And so the only reason I was okay with it was because she had planned it all out. It was great. We went over to Galaxy's Edge, and we got, she let me make a lightsaber. It was like a surprise that she had there. Cool. We got passes to go on that new attraction, which was Rise of the Resistance. It was great. And she's really, really good at it. And so at certain points, as long as everyone's okay with it, right? If you want to be a super planner and figure out everything and stuff like that, that is okay. Yeah. But you just got to make sure everyone's okay with it.
Exactly.
At that point, I was okay that Cassandra did that, and I met you, and it was great. It was awesome. Now we have a podcast.
Well, it's a cool story for me with like the parks. So my wife and I, we were just dating at the time. Our second date actually was at Epcot. So I had like she had access to the parks and was like, hey, you know, like I have a guest pass, I can get you in if you would like. And I was like, sure, I guess. I don't really know. Like our first date, we had met at Disney Springs, and it was like really, we hit it off really, really well. So the second one, we're like, oh, let's go and like hang out at one of the parks, walk around, do something fun. So she's like, well, what park's your favorite? I was like, Epcot. And we're like, okay, well, let's do it. Great time. We had stayed. We walked. I discovered an attraction that she had never gone on. Not the Hall of Presidents. It's like the weird American thing over in like the
American
Is
Pavilion.
it like Liberty Hall or something like that? I can't remember. But it's like the weird stage thing over there. It was weird. It's silly.
Very patriotic.
It was very patriotic. It was a lot. But it was one of those funny things where it was like, oh, what about this thing? And she's like, I've never done this. And I was like, we're going to do something new today.
Hey, it's there.
So I was not the Disney expert that she was, but she was able to, I found a way to experience something new with her there, and you know, we have fun. That. But what's funniest about the story is like we stayed till park closed, so we watched the fireworks and everything. We left and we grabbed dinner afterwards. This is so great.
I know this story.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
I know.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna finish it for the podcast though. So we and this is I take as success to my charisma and charm. Was so like we were having so much fun and we weren't paying attention to like our phones or anything like that. My wife had, I don't remember how many missed calls from her mom, from her sister, from your wife,
Yes.
all looking for her because we did not meet at the park. I went and picked her up from home
Yep.
before. Second date, the stranger just came and picked her up from her house, and she was not answering her cell phone.
She was not answering her cell phone. They had no idea where she was.
And they had
She
very
was
little information of who
gone.
I was.
Yes, this random man just took this woman and was gone.
gone.
Little did they know she's having a wonderful time.
Oh, yeah. Grand old time.
But they think she's gone or worse.
Yep, she's what was it? Her mom's favorite thing was either she's dead on the side of the road in a ditch,
Oh, no.
or she's halfway to China.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, my wife now has to share her location with her family for security purposes.
Yeah.
But again, I
But she
consider
married
this.
him. She did.
She did
and
marry me, yeah.
The family, both families were okay with it. They're like,
Yep.
okay, he kept her safe.
A fun
So
time.
yeah,
It
that's
was a
good.
fun time. It's a funny story though because I get to
Yeah.
share that, and it was a wild time. It was
nice.
It was a wild night. But
Yes.
anyways, so I
Yes.
think that's all the time we have.
That's all the
for
time we
today
have.
with stories.
Also, with your wild night, theme parks are also wild. They're fun. If someone is going out to Epic Universe soon, have fun out
Yes.
there. It's going to be great.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. It's gonna be the summertime.
Absolutely.
You need it.
Yes, exactly. If you're not and you're waiting to go to theme parks there, I'd say it's worthwhile. I mean, go other places too as well, but like theme parks are there for you to have fun. People do have a good time that's out there.
Yeah.
There are complications. There are pickle feet that are out there with it, but just be a nice person and enjoy.
Not be mean to the theme park employees
Team members or cast
or
members.
cast members.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
Be nice to them. They're
They're
out to heat
people.
all day.
I know you're on vacation, but this is their daily job. Be nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, that is my little soapbox. I'm gonna put that back down now. Get off of
That's
that.
fair. Be kind to
Just be a kind person.
service people.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for watching this episode. We are really happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
But Andrew, don't we have socials?
Oh, we absolutely do. So if you would like to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, any of those other fun socials, you can find us at Sheltered Sages. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave that little subscribe and hit the little bell to the side of it and get notified anytime we post anything new. If you are enjoying listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can follow us, leave a little 5-star review or any comments.
Yeah.
And why don't you, just for our call out for today, why don't you comment in the video and or the podcast what your favorite ride is at a theme park?
Ooh.
And it can be any, like we obviously talked a lot about Central Florida. We didn't even talk about Busch Gardens,
No.
SeaWorld,
Six Flags.
Six Flags. There's a
Carowinds.
Fun Spot in the if you want to risk,
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld is fun.
Yeah.
But like there are a lot of theme parks and there are people at theme parks. Kings Island is a fun one that I went to that I had
Europa
never been.
Park?
Never been to that one. Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Legoland. So we do have Legoland close
true.
to us. That's actually a lot of fun. But yeah, so just comment on what your favorite theme park is or your favorite ride, something fun to just engage with us. And, if you have any crazy stories of times you went on vacation or, your girlfriend at the time, now wife, was supposedly
Abducted.
kidnapped at a theme park, share it in the comments. Send us a story at shelteredsages@gmail.com. And we'd love to read your story, maybe share it on the show and see what everything else comes up. But,
Absolutely.
But all that to be said, thank you so much for listening to us today and have a wonderful rest of your week.
All right. See ya.
Bye.